Welcome to The Lift with Sheila Robinson Kiss. Come on in. There's always a special place set aside for you here where you can relax, kick up your heels, pour yourself a nice, refreshing drink, and prepare to be lifted and soar. Thanks so much, everyone, and welcome back. Communication cowardice. Get free. I'm going to say that one more time. Communication cowardice. Get yourself free today. This is an important message that I have to share with you today because we are living in times. You cannot afford to be unclear within yourself. And you certainly cannot afford to walk in a lack of clarity with anyone else. I'm talking about across the board in all of your relationships. So today, I just want to do a quick check-in, give you some things to think about where poor communication or no communication is concerned. I have watched over the years, I've watched poor communication or no communication obliterate relationships and marriages, business relationships, friendships, and I'm not pointing a finger at anyone without pointing it at myself. I've certainly been guilty myself of poor communication. And I want to share a little story with you about really what snapped me out of it. It was a disastrous relationship that snapped me out of it. I knew that I was in a situation that desperately needed to be aired out with some very direct communication. And because I wanted to spare someone's feelings, I kind of put it off. And I will tell you, it ended disastrously. The whole thing blew up. And at the end of the day, you know who was hurt? My feelings were not spared at the end of that scenario. I was the one that was hurt. It was very cruel. It was ridiculous. And that was it. As horrible as it was also divine at the same time because it smacked me real fast into reality. And I had that come to Jesus talk with myself. I'm like, girl, you need to clean this up. You're going to clean up your communication game and you're going to do it ASAP. I have gone on to do that work, and words cannot express. When they say the truth will set you free, it will not only set you free, it will give you wings to fly and to soar. So back to this whole issue of communication cowardice. Why do people back down from direct and clear communication? 3 reasons. Number 1, they don't want to hurt. A lot of times we don't want to hurt another person's feelings. Number 2, you don't know what to say. And number 3, you may be living so unconsciously that you're out of touch with your needs and the dynamics of your relationships altogether. So I want to touch on all 3 of these and give you some strategy and some things to think about. Number 1, you don't want to hurt another person's feelings. I can relate to this. I take no joy in hurting people. I know some people who really get off on that stuff. It hurts me to hurt people. I'm glad. I hope it will always stay that way because it means I have a conscience. Okay, I've seen in my work, I have seen wounding, people just debilitated for years by careless words, wounding. So I'm careful with people. But what I want you to understand is this: you're not going to do anyone any favors by withholding clear and compassionate communication for the sake of sparing their feelings. 9 times out of 10, they're going to end up getting hurt just because you're suppressing something. Life is built on truth and intention. It's built on truth and intention. And when those are not aligned, someone is going to be hurt in the equation. And I have found by taking this very intentional walk to always say, I'm going to honor I'm going to honor my truth. And my intention is not to hurt anyone, but to keep a clean, playing, level feel out here in life. And I have found that, yes, initially, if that has not been your mode of operating, it may be uncomfortable at first. But as you go along taking this truth walk, you will find it's nearly impossible to reverse course. It will be impossible to reverse course because you are seated. You are seated in divinity, and your vibration has become so high you can't even go back to something that would resemble in authenticity. So number 2, you don't know what to say. You don't know what to say. It's hard to know what to say when you're not well practiced, or you're not really well versed in communicating directly, clearly, and compassionately. Let me give you a few talking points. You know you may be nervous. They know you may be nervous. You can just start out by saying, I have to tell you something. And you can probably see, I struggle with this, but I need to say it, one way or the other. You can also say, it's really hard for me to find the words to share this, but I need to go ahead and say it. And what I have to say with you, I'm sharing it out of respect. So don't let the fact that you have some level of discomfort stop you from walking within your truth. And then sometimes we worry about the reactions of other people. I have to tell you, since I really started my truth walk, sitting in the seat of divinity and integrity, there are times you're going to come across people who can't hear what you have to say. But if you're coming with the intention of respect and truth and calm, and they can't hear it, now hear me well, that becomes their problem. They're immature and they need to work on their reaction. Part of growing up and coming of age is realizing you're going to have to hear things that you may not really like, that you may not appreciate. But maturity should come into the equation, saying, you know what, this is what communication is all about. I can't make it better. I can't get a clear picture unless I'm communicating openly and listening. And number 3, sometimes we communicate poorly because we're so out of touch with our needs or what's happening in our relationships. See, being in touch with your needs actually requires you sitting down to visit and revisit, hey, what is this walk about? What do I want? What do I need? What's going on in my relationships? What do those people need? So that requires some intentional design work on your part. So what I want you to do in the next 24 to 48 hours, sit down with yourself, get a piece of paper and a pen, write needs. On one column is what I don't want or need, what I do want and need from my life and my relationships. And once you get clear on that, when you need to communicate, you're not going to be caught with your pants down, so to speak. It's interesting. Recently, I was offered a really big opportunity. I turned it down, and some folks in my life didn't understand why I did that. I did it because I understand what my wants and needs are out of life and my relationships. Logistically, it just wasn't a good match. I didn't need to blow it up. I didn't need to ignore this person who offered the opportunity. I just simply said, what an amazing opportunity. I'm so flattered that you thought of me right now where I'm at in my life. My business is just not a match. But thank you so much. There you have it. Clear, compassionate communication. And that's really, again, what is required, because what you don't want, if you make someone guess about your intentions or where you're coming from, they're probably not going to guess something very positive. Most people are going to go to the negative. So clear communication is about letting people know proactively where you stand, who you are, what you're about. Issues like boundaries, respect, all of that is weaved into communication. So I hope this has been a powerful, important reminder for you about sharpening up those communication skills. Thank you so much. I'll see you next time.